Hi everyone, welcome back to Brookdale Farm. I've had a question come up a couple of times in the comments, and that is, on a small farm, how do you build up a customer base to sell your products? And I'm sorry, Jan, it's taken me so long to get to this video for you. Marketing is not my strong point. And I suppose while I'm doing this video, I should also say, if you're enjoying these videos, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. Now, on a small farm, you've got to work out what your product is that you're going to sell and what your point of difference is. My first couple of years, I was actually cutting hay, and then cutting it into chaff and selling it to horse people. I cut my first crop with a reaper binder and had a lot of help from the family to stook it all and bring it in and then cut it for chaff, and that was a lot of work, but it was quite a good business, but the chaff cutter I had was a bit old, so I didn't end up continuing to do that. I tried a few different things before I found the product that I had settled on. So I grow wheat and oats, and I sell it in 25 kilo bags to people for their chickens and horses and their pets, basically. Every now and then I get asked if you can eat it as well, and yeah, you can, but I'm selling it as pet food because it's simpler than selling it for human consumption. Now, once you've worked out what you're going to sell, you need to work out your packaging, and you want to make this look as professional as you can. I started out using second-hand bags and sewing them up by hand with a bagging needle, and I did that till all the bags wore out. Basically, I'd get them back from people and I'd reuse them over and over again, but it didn't look very good. So eventually I started buying new bags. And then I wanted to be able to brand them so that people knew what they were. And I started out by getting some stencils made up. Now, these weren't particularly successful. The lettering's a bit small on them, and they tend to block up a bit quick, and they dribble on the paint. Overspray dribbles through and it makes a bit of a mess. I do still use these occasionally, but when I could get my head around it, I started getting bags, brand new bags, properly printed. I got a sewing machine so that I could stitch them up. They look professionally done. And this made me, one of the things this did was make me feel good about the product that I was selling. It looked professional when I had them all nicely tied down on the ute with a load of branded bags. I felt good about it, and when I turned up to deliver to people, it looked good. So there are a couple of starting points. The next thing that is really important is consistency of supply. Now, in the first years I was doing this, I had no idea how much I was going to sell to people, and I ended up usually growing about enough to supply them for 6 months. So I'd start to build up my customers, and it'd all be going well, and then I'd run out, and I wouldn't have any for another 5 or 6 months, and I would lose all of those customers. So talk to your neighbours, and in my case I'm selling wheat. There's bundles of people round here that grow wheat as well. They sell it on a big scale, but some of them keep some in their silos for their own personal use, or for to feed to their stock. So the thing that made the biggest difference to me was when I started organising with one of the guys down the road that I'm friends with, to just be able to buy in what I need when I run out, so I can supply to people all year, and I know that I'm going to have enough. I do sometimes still run out usually about a week before harvest starts, which is really inconvenient, but my customers sort of understand that too. The guy I buy it in from wants to clean out his silos and get so that he's putting fresh stuff into the silos every year, and anything that's left over that I haven't used and he hasn't used, he sells off so that he always has fresh grain in his silos every year. So that's really important. Also, know what your neighbours are doing around you. And one way to get customers is word of mouth. Now, you want to know what your neighbours are doing so that you can tell your customers about other products that are available within a couple of kilometres of where you are. And this helps everybody out, because then your neighbours will start doing that for you as well. One of my best customers, the stock feeders that I deliver to, came that way. A friend of mine was delivering hay to them, and they said, well, do you sell grain as well? And he said, no, but I've got a mate that does. And they're my best customer. Well, one of my best customers anyway. So you want to know what your neighbours are doing so that you can advertise for them, but also so that you know, just so that you know who's around you and what sort of other businesses there are around you. Around here, we've got a neighbour over that way that grows hay and sells it. Everything else around here is big farms, and they all tend to go through CBH. Our neighbour over there has got a lot of sheep. He doesn't crop a lot, he runs sheep. Neighbours around this side, it's all leased out, but it's leased out to somebody who crops over 20,000 acres. So none of them are interested in the small guys really and what they're doing. And I don't need to know too much about what they're doing, other than it gives me a chance to lend a hand to them or to get a hand from them when I need it. And it always helps just to know your neighbours. Now, marketing. When I started out, I was advertising in the Elders Weekly magazine. There wasn't too much on the internet. You've got so many internet options now to advertise on. The place I advertise now is Gumtree here in Western Australia, and I've got an ad up which disappears from time to time because you need to watch it and keep an eye on it, because Gumtree delete them after a certain amount of time and you've just got to go back and repost them. Facebook Marketplace is also a really good place to advertise advertise your product, depending on what your product is, of course. The meat that we are starting to sell or looking at selling at the moment, a little bit more complicated. I can't advertise that in the normal places at the moment. There's still a bit of red tape we're working through for the meat products, and the honey longer term. So all your social medias, TikTok, Instagram, all of those things. If you want to go and find somebody who is advertising really heavily and has a really good internet presence, particularly Facebook presence, go and have a look for Farmer to Fridge. They seem to be doing a really good job. They sell meat, and they're doing a lot of marketing, and they're not too hard to find. The other good places, depending on your product, your marketing is going to change. The local markets. Now, we have a local market in 2J. Jess has a stall there, and she sells her cards and her fabrics and her artwork and some of the things that she makes there. I sell stuff there too. I sell wheat and oats and straw. Interestingly, the wheat and oats do not sell well there. It's more of an artisan market. There are people who sell honey and wine and things like that. There's some local produce there, but most of it's artistic stuff. So my produce doesn't really fit into that particular market. But in summer, when everybody's wanting to mulch their gardens and things like that, the straw bales sell quite well there. So that's where I don't advertise my straw too much. I just take it straight to the 2J Farmers Market in the right time of year. The other really important thing when you're trying to market your product, talk to your customers, get to know your customers and get to know what your customers want. There are some great customers out there that you can do deals with to give everybody a good deal. And when I say that, if I have got like this year I had a lot of seconds oats. I had one patch of the paddock that had a lot of radish in it. So the oats have got a lot of radish seed mixed in with it. I can't sell that through the stock feeds. I would not sell that to a new customer. But I've got a couple of customers that I know would be more than happy with that product for a little bit of a discount. So I can help them out by selling it to them as at a discount. I can help myself out by getting rid of it to these customers who I know will want it. And it saves me from having to go through the time and hassle of trying to clean the radish out. Now, I can clean the radish out, but it'd be half a day and it'd be all the diesel and stuff to run it back through the seed cleaner and all of that sort of thing. Also, some of my customers give me the bags back when they've finished with them, and they are happy to have second-hand bags. So while the bags are in good condition, I can keep using them a couple of times. That keeps my costs down. It makes them happy as well because they feel like, or because the bags are being recycled and used more than once. So it's really important to get to know your customers, get to know the ones that you can offer some special deals to, get to know also the ones that you would never do that to because they're just going to be a hassle. And I have a couple of them too that I would never offer any second type stuff to because I know that no matter what, they will have an issue with it. So I have spent quite a long time building up my customer base, and I sell about 3,000 bags a year of grain and other bits and pieces. That's at the moment about what I can manage. That keeps me really busy through summer, bagging up and doing deliveries after work, and I don't get much time to do anything else. I could certainly build it up a bit more than that. 3,000 bags worth is about what I can grow easily as well. At the moment, I could build that up a bit more as well, and I would like to build both of those up and spend more time on the farm. And that will happen in time. Probably over the next 2 years, I'm going to build both of them up a bit more. So that I can stop working at some of the other places that I work, but I enjoy my other jobs as well. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 there. But yeah, all your online places are the best places to advertise. Most of them are free. Get yourself a website. I haven't got one yet, but I'm using Facebook as a very basic sort of website at the moment. Where I'm advertising my stuff. I get very few sales through Facebook, but I don't advertise on Marketplace. I only advertise at the moment on Gumtree. So yeah, all of your social medias, put as much out on there as you can in your local area. Join your local Facebook pages. That's a really good way to get business. Depending on what it is you're selling, go around to other businesses in your local towns and see what you can see if they want to buy from you. There's both the hardwares and 2J sell wheat and oats. I do not sell through them because there is another local who has been selling through them for longer than I've been doing this, and it's the same guy because his packaging is always the same. But I do go in and check because I know that he runs out sometimes, and when he runs out, that's my time that I can go and offer to fill that gap. And as soon as I see that they are using somebody else, he's not doing it anymore, that I will go in there and talk to them and see if I can supply them, because they both want local products, but I don't want to take business away from another local either. So yeah, that's my take on marketing here. I hope this has been useful to a few people. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.